Om
Karya Surya Kotiprabha Nirvignam Kurame Deva Sarvakayesu Sarvada Ankikam Yasya Vachikam Sarvavanmayam
Aharyam Chandrataradi Tamamaha Satvikam Shivam
Gurur
Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Saraswati Namaste Narade Kabarupidi Vyalabham Kareshami Siddhit Bhavatu Me Sada Om Shanti Sahanam
Why do we chant such mantras before any class? Is to get the blessings of Guru. Okay, and for those who have joined newly, do not worry. I will send you the audio of how this mantra to be chanted. We are including all the Lord, Ganesha. Ganesha is the Lord who actually removes all the obstacles which we can have. Then Shiva, then Vishnu, Saraswati who gives us the Vidya. So that's why we invoke blessings of all the Deva, Devatas and Gurus. Today's class I will start. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. As you all know by now, it is through my gurus these classes have started. In the white shirt is Dr. Hegde, and in the orange robe is Swami Paramarthananda ji. Today we will start with second shloka of Guru Paduka Stotram. Second Stotram. Sarayu, over to you.
Yes, sir. Kavitvavaraish-nishakarabhyam Dhaurbhagyadavam Budhamalikabhyam Durikritanam cha Vipattitabhyam Namo Namaha Shri Guru Padukabhyam. The meaning of this is like a full moon for the ocean of the knowledge, like downpour of water to put out the fire of misfortune, removing the various distresses of those who surrendered to them. O dear Guru, I bow to thy holy sandals. Thank you, Sachin uncle, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Sarayu. Children, we are in the last week, we started with Guru Paduka Stotram. The Guru Padukas are revered all over the world. We also have seen in one of the stories where Bharat, who came to Rama, and Rama was going to Vanvasa. And Rama gave the Padukas to Bharat, saying, till I come, you rule the kingdom. And Bharat, being a disciple or a very disciplined brother of Rama, he kept the Padukas and he worshipped the Padukas as the king himself. Same way, children, if we want to learn something, we have to have the reverence or the bhakti or the faith in gurus. And this Guru Paduka Stotram tells us in one by one verse. So last verse, Aditi did a very good chanting and explained about the first verse. Second is today's verse, Daurbhagyam. Any misfortune which might be coming in our way will be taken away by none other than Guru himself. With his blessings, no misfortune will ever come our way. With this understanding, I will go to, if you can switch off your mic. Okay. Mamta is going to be our speaker for today. She has done BTech and Masters from Suratkal. She has worked in USA for 14 long years as a database analyst. She was an associate professor in one of the biggest college in Bangalore, PES. She is mother of 2 kids and an ardent follower in Param Vedanta group. She would be talking to us and presenting tapas. Tapas is nothing but the discipline which we should have. Over to you, Mamta.
Thank you, Sachin, for your kind words. Hello, kids and parents. How are you all doing? Along with what Dr. Sachin said, I'm fortunate to be part of the Vedanta group led and guided by Dr. Hegde sir, of which Dr. Sachin also is a part of. I got introduced to the group a couple of years ago by a good friend of mine. I enjoy the classes and learn from each one of them in the group every day. It's really nice to see your eagerness, the kids' eagerness to learn the ways of the thinking of our past. The task you have taken is a very nice one, but not an easy task. I only wish for all of you that your interest in topics like Vedanta, our ancient history, remain. I would say, take the good from these teachings, implement and find success and happiness in your daily life. In the slide 1, we all know that the Bhagavad Gita is a conversation, right, between the disciple and the Guru. It is one of the most important conversations that is recorded between man and God. In the next slide, Sachin, can you go to the next slide? Thank you. When we talk about Mahabharata, a lot of things come to your mind. So let me sum it up with some basic important things associated with Mahabharata. The Mahabharata is essentially about the various influences of household dilemmas, the friendship, about relationships, and most importantly, what is it? A property dispute. These are the very same factors, right, which make us happy or sad based on the situations in our day-to-day life. Today's talk will focus on 3 main aspects of living in a society. You have already discussed this in your earlier classes. I'll just do a recap and some relevant aspects associated with it. These are the 3 verses we will discuss. The main synopsis of these 3 verses can be distilled into the following main topics of physical discipline, verbal discipline, and mind discipline. Let me try to organize these topics in the form of questions. Then we will try to find answers to these questions, which will help us to understand and make this session useful to all of us. So let's look at the questions in the next slide. What is physical discipline? What types are there? Next slide, Sachin. Why is it important? Then second one, what is verbal discipline? What types? Why is it important? The third, what is mental discipline? What it means to us? And why is it important? Finally, what have we learned today? We can clearly see with these questions that our goal is to understand the topic, understand the various options in those topics, realize the importance of it, and finally see its relevance to the world that we live. This relevance is what will impress you the most, because these texts have been written thousands of years ago, and today it is presented in your textbooks for ages 5 to infinity. It is present in your social studies books, present in psychology books, present in motivational books, and so on. Only difference is that it is known by different names for different age category. So what is tapas? Like Dr. Sachin mentioned a while back, any form of discipline, especially religious or spiritual discipline that I practice can be called as tapas. It is also known as penance, also known as austerity. Discipline. This is the meaning of tapas that Lord Krishna refers to in these shlokas. That is 17th chapter, 14th, 15th, and 16th shloka. In the next slide, what is physical discipline? Let's look at that and what are its types. Physical discipline. This discipline pertains to the body, the outermost part of the personality. Living right values, keeping right relationships with others is physical tapas. The shloka talks about, I'm sure you have gone over this. Let's do a quick recap. The different types of rituals. This shloka talks about the different types of rituals, then shaucham, arjavam, and ahimsa, right? Rituals is what? It's basically worship of gods, prajna, and adore them. Rituals are important to remove the laziness from our body. Laziness comes from our tamasic behavior. Shaucham is basically, it's straightforward. Cleanliness, keeping your house, your room clean and not cluttered in, and yourself also clean. Arjavam is all physical actions should be in line with what you think and what you talk. So basically, the small things go a long way towards spiritual progress. Examples like punctuality, keeping up to the time is one of them. Then ahimsa is non-violence of people and also associated with the things that we handle. In the next slide, now why is this tapas or physical discipline important? We have to understand to do the simple things every day with joy and regularity. Next slide, Sachin. Do the exercise daily, be it yoga or exercise. Simple prayers to help with concentration, being punctual, following a healthy routine are all part of physical discipline. We have to understand that doing these simple tasks will make your body and mind fit. These simple tasks will help us achieve bigger and brighter things in our life. Let us look at or talk about the French Open that we are all familiar with and about Djokovic, who has achieved the Grand Slam win this year. Take any of the sports stars, Sachin, Virat Kohli, some of the great basketball or football players and our Olympic players. Every one of them practice 4 to 5 hours at least on the field. Djokovic practices 4 to 5 hours on the court, then again they go back to the gym for 2 to 4 hours. When he practices, he is serving 500 plus times, hitting 500 plus balls across the net. So every time he practices, there is measurement as to what you're doing, what actually happened. How can we equate it to simple things we do, like say studying? When I say I studied for 15 minutes, we have to find out, did I make sure if I understood what I read? Like solve few problems or answer questions to the exercise. Basically, whatever we do, we have to do with a sense of measurement. Simply sitting for hours together without understanding the result we need to get will be useless. If we have to achieve something, we have to make sure we put our heart, mind, and soul to it 100%. Previous slide, Sachin. That is what discipline is all about. However, the level of effort to be put may vary from person to person. A famous coach was asked, "How much should I practice to win the tournament?" The coach replies, "As much as it takes for you to win." This clearly tells us everyone needs different amounts of effort to be put in. One may take 10 minutes to learn chanting 10 shlokas, someone else may take 30 minutes, another 2 hours. What matters is you should have the discipline to practice and get it right. In the next slide, this slide, that's fine, Sachin, the previous slide. What is verbal discipline then? Then what types are there? Why is it important? Verbal discipline is all about what comes out of one of the most important organ in our body, the tongue, with the help of the mouth. In a sense, we need to make sure that whatever we utter is responsible and not hurtful to others. The shloka further classifies verbal output into 4 parameters, which have to be observed before allowing the words to come out of the mouth. They are anudvegakaram, not to hurt people by your talk. You have gone over all these, right? So I'll just recap it real quick. Satyam, speak the truth. That is in line with what you think and what you speak. Priyam means having pleasing manners. People should feel comfortable talking again to us. Irrespective of what you communicate verbally, the beauty is even when the content that what you're talking is unpleasant, that unpleasant content can be communicated pleasantly. That is Priyam. Hitam is when we speak, it should benefit both the speaker and the listener. You should try to avoid speaking that results in spreading rumors, talking ill about others, all such negative talks. In the next slide, now coming to importance of talking and its discipline. Why do we say mouth and tongue are the important organs? One, of course, you can taste pizza, burger. Taste is very important, but that is a different thing. The power of the tongue is that it has the ability to change the world. You can motivate somebody, talk to somebody and convince them not to do the wrong thing. The motivational speeches by our freedom fighters helped us get our independence. Shankaracharya's well-known discourses and debates helped propagating Hindu philosophy. Motivational speeches by Swami Vivekananda resulted in awareness of Hinduism. Even today, the topic of soft skills. What is soft skills? Nothing but the 4 parameters which we just covered. There is a lot of money invested in students and work professionals by various companies to make sure they talk properly. These are what we call as soft skills, like talking in pleasing manners and confident manner, ability to greet people properly, and so on. We can clearly see how the Gita not only talks about being pleasant with others, but gives us an organized scientific way to approach and solve this problem of verbal communication. Let us look at a frog story, okay? A group of frogs were traveling and suddenly this is a fictitious story, and suddenly 2 frogs fell into a deep hole. They were trying hard to jump and come out of the well, but did not succeed. Looking at the situation, other frogs watching all this were telling the 2 in the well that they may not be able to come out of the hole. Hearing this, one of the frogs just stopped trying and fell into the well and died. The other frog kept on trying and eventually was able to come out of the well. Surprised, his friends asked, "How did you make it in spite of all the odds?" The frog said, "I couldn't hear you well. I thought you were encouraging me to get out of the well. That gave me the strength to come out." Kids, what this shows is how important it is to talk positive and good words. We all know the perils of evil that lurk around us, drugs, internet, and the company we keep. Understand that keeping open lines of communication with your parents, teachers, and well-wishers will be the key to survival in this modern age. The more help you get, the more talking that you will be able to do with your well-wishers, the more you will succeed. So now let's go to what is mental discipline, what it means to us, and why is it important. So mental discipline is about how you train your mind to remain calm and to differentiate between right and wrong. You're all aware of computers and the programs that run on the computers, the data that we give to the programs, that is fed to the programs, and the processing that happens in the computers behind the scene, right? So mind is like that same processing. It is like an engine, like a program which takes the data from where? From the sense organs. Whatever we hear, we talk, we taste, see, we feel, all this is fed to the mind. This data, what happens, is registered in the mind, just like the data is registered in the computer. But here in the mind, it is in the form of thoughts for further processing, just like the data is processed in the computer. It is to be understood, we need to process this data, which transforms into this data that comes to the mind, gets converted into thoughts. Those we have to make sure they get converted to a correct thoughts. There's good thoughts. That means we need to filter these thoughts so that positive and good thoughts influence the mind. This will be one of the main ways in which we can keep our mind under control. However, the danger one should always be aware of is that if negative thoughts or harmful thoughts are allowed to carry on in the mind, that means they are nourished, then they become very strong, and they get converted later into words like I'm going to do it, which will influence to take bad decisions. We should understand that these thoughts turn into words, which will make you utter wrong things, and your verbal discipline will fail. With verbal discipline failing, what happens? It will influence the actions the body performs. That is, the thoughts becomes the words, words becomes the actions. So bad thoughts results in bad words, meaning wrong words, then bad actions or wrong actions. This will result in the physical discipline failing, which means the complete failing and destruction of an individual. Therefore, mind discipline is very important, as it is the main reason to keep physical and verbal discipline in check. With a calm mind, we have to process the data. Only then we will be able to take the right decisions for any situation. Let us take another example. Let us look at a small minor accident that happens on the road. It is an accident. No one does it with purpose. But imagine the number of arguments that happen. Sometimes it results in people hitting each other in anger. Due to anger, the mind is not able to properly filter the data coming from the senses, interpret it, and then take the right decision calmly. This has been talked about in Bhagavad Gita, imagine thousands of years ago. Today you go to a psychologist or you read any anger management books. They say, if anyone say any bad thing, relax, breathe in and out, don't react impulsively. Only then you might be able to realize maybe you have done something wrong to hurt the other person, for which that person is behaving in that fashion, or some other logical reasoning. The next slide, what is its relevance then? Why do it? The mind discipline. You know another story that happened again a while back. This is again in French Open. Women tennis player, that is Osaka, was fined $15,000 for refusing to talk to the press. Do you know the reason why she refused to talk to the press? She said, press reporters always bring up questions about my faults at the play. I feel nervous and it affects my performance. Even a great player who has been trained well, who has been qualified to play in French Open, had this issue of getting affected by what people had to say. All these instances show that mind discipline is not easy. You have to be aware and constantly work towards a calm state of mind by filtering the data that comes to the mind and making right interpretations. So what have we learned today? In the last slide, you all must have heard about MVP, right? What is MVP?
Mind, verbal, polite.
Mind, verbal, and physical.
Yeah, but in the field of sports, it's most known,
Mind, verbal, physical.
most valuable player, right? Most valuable.
Verbal, physical.
Yes, that is in the Vedanta world, but in the sports world, in the world of sports, is most valuable player of the tournament, right? You're right. You're right. I'm coming to what you're saying right now. You're right. Become a most valuable player of your personality. 1 second, if you don't mind. I'm sorry. I need my charger. 1 second.
So, children, before she comes, I just want to take you through one example. See, when you go through a heavy traffic, who is disciplining the traffic?
Traffic police.
Traffic police.
Traffic police.
So, this is what
Traffic
Krishna is said.
police.
And also there is one light. Traffic signal.
The traffic signal.
Traffic signal.
Correct. Correct. So we should have a small signal in our brain that whenever situation comes, whenever someone is saying something wrong or you don't like it, there should be a signal in the brain. First, the red light. Mentally, you think, okay, then the green light. Verbally, you can say something. And finally, as the vehicle moves physically, so mentally you think, verbally only when you say when it is right or wrong, you understood, then only physically you act. So have a small signal in your mind whenever situation arises. I think Mamta is back.
Yeah,
Mamta?
sorry,
Yeah.
Sachin, I had my battery low, so I had to.
No worries.
my
Please
thing.
carry on.
Somebody has a question. We can talk about it after I complete it in another couple of minutes. Somebody
Yeah.
has put a question in the chat. I'll just finish it.
Fine.
So MVP, what you told is also right, but in the world of sports, it is most valuable player of the tournament, right? So what you have to become is a most valuable player of your personality, the MVP for all of the people around you. In Vedanta, what you said is what it is. That is, M stands for mind, V for verbal, and P for physical discipline, V for verbal discipline, M for mind discipline. This MVP state is important for all the well-being of individuals. How does one become this MVP? We can only hope to become an MVP only if we have the right attitude. What is this right attitude? Understand that we ask you to have good discipline in the areas of mind, verbal, and physical, right? But is this easy to do? Can you do all the right things only every time, every day? No, that is not possible, right? We are all human beings. So let us say we have to do 20 right things every day. We should start by saying, let me do at least 5 right things today. And the other 15 things, don't do anything bad, but at least know to distinguish between right and wrong. The following day, try to increase a little bit these 5 things to 7 good things, and so on. Hopefully, in due course of time, you will be able to incrementally do the right things. All along, it is important for us to always understand that we should distinguish between right and wrong. When you go into your room to study, make sure to not think of movies or games or the phone or the net. Get the MVP discipline to incrementally become better every day. Another fine example where kids and adults alike face challenges. A good piece of ice cream cake or a piece of apple? Well, we all know the answer, right? But what we need to focus on is, which one?
A piece of
Well,
apple.
Good, very good
Piece of
kids.
apple.
You're really good kids. Good kids, disciplined good kids. We need to focus on is that when we have choices like this, at least discipline your mind to be aware of what is right and wrong and do the right thing most of the time. Our only hope towards becoming an MVP is to show an attitude of incremental progress every day. This is all I have. Thank you, kids, for your patient listening, and Dr. Sachin for giving me an opportunity to share some information relevant to the 17th chapter, shlokas 14, 15, and 16. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Very nicely explained.
thank you, ma'am. It was very
Thank you.
nice.
Oh,
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you very much. Thank you for
you,
giving me the
Thank you, ma'am.
opportunity
Thank you,
to you all. I really enjoyed.
Ma'am, can I ask you my doubt?
Yeah,
Only-
yeah. Let me see if I can answer your doubt. Yeah,
Kavin,
go ahead.
only one doubt. Kavin, one doubt and rest of the doubts after the class, okay?
Yeah.
Ma'am, my father said that Osaka was the youngest champion in tennis and she became the youngest champion in this year only, 2021.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
Tennis champion in the world.
Yes.
The youngest world champion.
Yes, you're right. Okay.
Thank you.
Good. You have all that information. And other one quickly, Sachin, somebody said, what is incrementation? Incrimination, we can
I
discuss
think,
that later.
yeah,
I'll look into it. I think you must have heard me wrong, or I may not have pronounced it right. Right. At the end of the class, I can clarify, or I'll reply in the chat. Go
sure.
ahead, Sachin, carry on.
Thank you so much, Mamta. It was a very valuable lesson for not only kids, for all of us, that tapas, a discipline, will take us a long way. For the children, it is studies. For the adults like us in our work, it will take us in a long way. So we all look forward to have the three disciplines: mental, verbal, and physical equally. So as we start today's class, just let us brush up in the last class, Sahana and Sanika, what they said. It was about Guru. Guru in different forms, which we have seen in the last class, in the form of Buddha, a Guru who's doesn't speak much.
So what's the meaning of sermon?
Sermon means like he is given the first talk. A sermon means a talk from a Guru. Okay. And
Like a piece of knowledge in like a form of a speech?
yeah, very nice. Correct. This is Vishnu.
No, it's Vidhi.
Okay, Vidhi. Correct. So, Lord Buddha used to say very less few words. Shiva, absolutely no words. And Krishna, you have seen, with only words, he could make Arjuna win the battle. So, this is the different forms of gurus we have seen. And we also understood when we have met a guru, when we got a guru, how do we approach a guru? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. With lot of humility, you have to approach a guru. You have to empty your cup. What does that mean? Children, can you tell me what does empty your cup mean?
Empty your mind. Okay. Your mind. Anything else.
Mind.
Nothing. So you have to remove all the thoughts. Remove all the thoughts on your mind and be ready to accept the knowledge your guru is going to give you.
Correct. When you get the right guru, then accept his words as Lord's word, as Arjuna finally accepted and he won the battle. And this entire understanding of Vibhuti, okay, I think Asha madam has joined us. Welcome, Asha madam. We'll keep the mic on mute until unless we want to say something. So, in this Vibhuti Yoga, we all know Brahman, the eternal cause for everything. Who is Brahman, children? Brahman is? Yes?
Who is the creator of the world and everything which is existing in the world?
He is the creator.
The Brahman is who created every soul and the living thing and every thing in the world.
So, there is one example given in Upanishad about Yathorna Navi Srujate Gruhate Chaha. Means like a spider's web. Just let us have a look at what does this meaning of spider. I'll just take you to the short video of the spider's web. Patiently look at it and then we will discuss over it. Okay.
Mom, sir, we can't hear.
That's okay. Audio is not important. It's okay.
We can hear, but it's a very in a low sound.
Okay.
Perhaps change your attitude to spiders forever. While spiders themselves are usually disliked, their webs often inspire us with their beauty, and the weaving of a milk web is the ultimate in spider craftsmanship. Long before the dinosaurs, the spiders were already using silk to catch their prey. It is from their first random snares that the classic hawk web evolved. To start a new web, the spider lets out a strand of silk to be carried by air currents. once the line's caught, the spider can start a web. And all work can take an hour or more in the making. Here it's compressed into a minute. First, the spider lays down a set of lines radiating from a hub, rather like the spokes of a cart wheel. Next, a wide spiral scaffolding holds those radiant lines in place. The spider moves inwards now, laying down a much tighter spiral. She's using the sticky silk that'll glue her victims to the web. The scaffolding, no longer needed, is eaten by the spider as she goes. In 400 million years or so, we will do a lot with 8 legs, a reel of silk, and a pot of glue.
So children, what you saw here is a spider's web. A spider is actually creating his own web, okay, through what? His glands inside, from his nabhi. Just like Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu has created Brahmaji and then the universe. So what this shloka says is, am I clear? Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So Brahma actually is the example here. We can't give example anything to Brahma, but nearest example is a spider. So next time children you see a spider, have the reverence for the creation of Lord, because spider gives rise to a web, and once the web's work is done, the work of web, what is the work of the web?
Sir, to catch the prey of the spider.
Correct. To catch the prey, eat it.
Smaller flies.
Yeah, and they say that spider takes his web again back inside. Don't you see in Spider-Man how he creates web, children?
From his hand.
Yeah.
But we have a web here.
Yeah. So it's very common in nature to see that. And also if you go to space, like through the Hubble telescope, the biggest telescope, you can see so many webs in the form of this huge cosmos or different galaxies, which you can see. So it's almost similar, the spider's web and the different galaxies created by Lord himself.
Yes.
Last verse, we had seen Arjuna asking to Krishna, actually is telling that, Lord, I know you have created so many things, even before so many sages, Narada, Vyasa, everyone spoke about it. I know you are the supreme Brahman, you are the supreme light. Even before sun, you have been there. He knows all this and is asking for more divine glories of Lord, because this is Vibhuti. Vibhuti means nothing else, glories of Lord. Coming today's verse, Padma will tell us about little bit more how the student Arjuna, how he's asking for more and more stories about Lord Krishna himself. Padma, over to you.
Yes, sir. Namaste all. Today I am going to explain the verse 10.14. Sarvam edatritam manye. Yanmam padati kesavaha. Nahinte bhagavan vyaktim. Vidurdevanadhanavaha. Sarvam means everything. Etat, this. Ritam, the truth. Manye, I accept. Yat, which. Mam means me. Vadashi means you tell. Keshava, Shri Krishna, the killer of the demon named Keshi. Na, neither. He, verily.
No.
Te, your. Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord. Vyaktim, personality. Viduha, can understand. Deva, the celestial gods. Na means nor. Danavaha, the demons. O Krishna, I totally accept everything you have told me as the truth. O Lord, neither gods nor the demons can understand your true personality. Like this says the Bhagavan, like the Lord, is he who possesses the six opulences, means the knowledge or the wealth, to infinite extents, like the strength, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation. The Devatas, who is the celestial gods, and the Danavas, the demons, Manavas, the human beings, all have the the finite abilities, like the particular knowledge to understand. They cannot comprehend the full identity of Bhagavan, means they cannot understand the full identity of Lord. Dhanyavadam.
Dhanyavad. See, I will try to explain in a very simple way. First, we have to understand, whenever we listen to a story, children, what do you do if your grandmother is telling you a story?
We sit near her and listen to it carefully.
And when you like the story, what you say? One
Mom,
more
I
story.
love it.
One more story. One more
Wow.
story. Isn't it?
Wow, it is so good.
Wow,
So
it's
good.
very nice.
Wow, it is very nice.
And
Wow,
you
it is very nice.
also
Wow,
believe,
it is excellent. I loved it.
correct. And you also say
I
that,
want to hear more.
yeah. And you also want to go more deeper in the story. You want to know much more. If she has told the story of, Vali, you will like to know where Vali lived. And you will go on asking till you finally sleep, isn't it, children? Same way, here Arjuna, actually Krishna till the verse 11, he has already given all the glories of himself he could give. But after that, Arjuna liked so many stories about Krishna, and he says, tell me everything. Tell me everything from the beginning, because none other than you know yourself so well. Isn't it? The Devas, the celestial gods, all came after Krishna. We all know that. So we'll see how this evolves, how this, in the very jokingly, we can say maska. Whenever we want to have something from the parents, you will be telling a lot of other things, isn't it? You will tell, Papa, you are so good. Papa, you are the only one who gives me everything. Same way, now Arjuna is behaving like a small child who has a lot of interest in knowing Lord Krishna's glory. 15th verse by Vidhi. Over to you, Vidhi.
Yeah. So today I'm gonna explain the 10.15th verse. Swayamevatmanatmanam. Vetatvam Purushottama. Vetashuddha Bhuta Bhavana Bhutesha. Deva Deva Jagatpate. So, Purushottama, O Supreme Purusha, Krishna, Bhuta Bhavana, the creator of all beings, Bhutesha, the sustainer of all beings, Deva Deva, the god of all gods, Jagatpate and the protector of the universe, Tvam Swayam Vetatha, you alone know, Atmanam, yourself, Atmana eva, by yourself. Okay, so basically, O Krishna, the creator of all beings, the sustainer of all beings, the god of all gods, and the protector of the universe, you alone know yourself by yourself. So here, interestingly, Arjun, he's getting the knowledge, and now he's calling Krishna in different names. For example, in the last shloka 10.14, he was using the names like Keshava and Bhagavana, and in this shloka he is telling Bhuta Bhavana, Bhutesha, Bhuta Bhavana, Bhutesha, Deva Deva, and Jagatpate, and these all are telling different qualities and the different works and all the God's glory. Okay, and So, and then he, by telling these names, then he tells you alone, by your own power, you know yourself by yourself. Nobody can know, no God, no demon, nobody. Only you, by your power, can know yourself. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vidhi. Very nicely you explained why so many names. So in Rudram also, there are Namakam and then Chamakam. Namakam means you tell different names like Namavali, Durga Namavali, Ganesh Namavali. So here, Purushottama, that is one name of Krishna. Actually, there is entire chapter dedicated to Lord Krishna or Purushottama Yoga. We will see in chapter 15 that one. Then he is also mentioning different name like Jagat Pate. More names will come in the next verse. So we will get one story in between where how Jagat Pate means what? He has Janardhana. There is one more name for Lord Krishna, Janardhana, who saves the Jana, means the people. And one story here, which Tejashri has accepted to say, tell to us. Tejashri, would you like to tell us the story of Krishna and Kalyavan?
Yes, sir. Good evening to one and all present here. I'm Tejashri and I'm going to be telling you about the story of Ranchod Maharaj, which is another name of Lord Krishna. There's a temple of Ranchod Maharaj in Gujarat. So this story is about Lord Krishna when once he had a fight with Kalyavan, who was a Rakshasam who could neither die, who had got a boon from Lord Shiva that he could neither die by the gods nor by any weapon. So Lord Krishna knew that neither could he kill him nor his Sudarshan Chakra. So when Arjuna and Subhadra were on their way to Dwaraka, Kalyavan came and kidnapped Subhadra. And he started shouting that, Krishna, if you're brave enough, come in front of me and fight with me. Hearing which, Krishna knew that if he could not kill him, he had to do something else. He even knew that Kalyavan could be killed if a sage who was in a long meditation would open his eyes and the energy which would come out in the form of flames could kill Kalyavan. So he ran away from the battlefield and came into a cave of Rishi Muchukunda, who was an ancestor of Sri Ram, and he was a warrior in the Devasur Sangram. He was tired after the war, so he asked Indra for a boon that he could sleep for 1,000,000 of years until the Treta Yoga and in the beginning of Dwapar Yoga. So when Krishna entered, he took out his vastra and put it right on top of Rishi Muchukunda. As soon as Kalyavan entered, he thought that Lord Krishna was lying down on the bed and sleeping. He started kicking Rishi Muchukunda, and in his anger, when Rishi Muchukunda opened his eyes, the energy which came out of in the form of flames burned Kalyavan. That's how Kalyavan was dead. But before this, Kalyavan was shouting that, Krishna, you ran away from the battlefield. Therefore, from now on, you will be also called Ranchod, which means the person who ran away from the battle. Ran means the battlefield and Chod means the person who left it. Therefore, there's a temple in Rajasthan called the Ranchod Maharaj Temple. Thank you.
Beautiful story, very nice story. So children, one more moral is whenever there is mad people around you, you don't go and fight with them. Sometimes it is better to play a trick. Like, Krishna plays lot of tricks. He's also called as, he plays lot of Leela. So Krishna's one Leela is he went away when there is no need of fighting with such a small demon. And he got killed him by one other Rishi. Coming to the creation of world. You all know Brahma was created by Lord Vishnu himself. And she mentioned about the different yugas, Kali Yuga. So just a recap. First, Brahmaji, when he got created, he did not know what to do in this world. Yeah.
I wanted to ask this question. Which yuga is going on now?
It is Kali Yuga.
Kali Yuga.
Oh my God.
I'll tell that. So in the Brahmaji's creation, first he had to meditate for thousands of years because it was all dark when he came out. And his job was to create the entire universe.
Sir, can I say something?
Yeah, Vishnu.
After Brahma had done the penance of thousands of years, then he started making things. But after making some things, he made his 3 children.
Which are the 3 children?
That I forgot the names.
Okay. So he first
Sir,
made,
I think that was Narada.
yeah, first he made Sanakadi Rishis and then 21 Rudras. But none of them had families. So finally he had to make the Sapta Rishis, and these Sapta Rishis had families, and through them the entire humanity born. And today we are in the 7th Manmantra, who's led by Vaivaswan. Vaivaswan Manu. Every Manmantra has one Manu who's in this Manmantra, and one Manmantra is made up of Chatur Yugas. And we are in the Chatur means 4 Yugas. One Yuga is almost 40,000 or maybe more than that years. Imagine all this Yugas, Chatur Yugas, and 14 Manmantras is only one half a day, 12 hours of Brahma's life. So imagine if you can convert all this, one blink of Brahma is thousands of years, children. So Brahmaji's creation is vast, and we are only living 100 years of that. So make use of every minute and second of that. Okay? Coming to 16th verse from Narayani. Narayani, over to you.
Sir?
Namaste to all. Today I'll be explaining the verse 10.16. I'll chant and you can repeat. Vaktum arhasya sheshena.
Vaktum arhasya
Divyatma vibhutayaha. Yabhirvibhutibhirlokan. Imam swam vyapayishtati. Arhasya sheshena. You should completely vaktum narrate Divya Atma Vibhutayah, those divine glories, Vibhuti Bhir, by which glories?
Can't hear you.
Now can you hear me?
No, I need clear.
Okay.
I can't hear anyone.
I can hear Narayani properly, but I can't. Vishnu is also proper, but his voice is breaking a little bit.
Vishnu, you can try to rejoin the meeting once.
Yes. Tvam Vishtasi. You retain Privading Iman Lokan. These words. In running meaning, you should completely narrate those divine glories of yours, by which glories you remain preveding these words. So here Arjuna tells is that in the last verse 15 and the before one was 14, the 15th and the 14th verse, here Arjuna was telling of all the names of Krishna to make Krishna happy. And after making Krishna happy, he told, O Krishna, your divine glories, by which the glories are pervading these worlds right now, he tells that Krishna that now you have told me only a little bit of the Bhagavad Gita. Now make me teach a little more and teach me more and more. So then Krishna gets very happy with this, and he starts to explain more Bhagavad Gita from the next verse. Thank you. Dhanyavada.
Thank you very much. Nicely explained. So, children, whenever you approach to some guru, you have to approach with this small tactics. Next time you try it out. I think you're already doing when your parents you want to get something very desperately. You try to glorify things. You try to tell nice words first. Even your one friend or someone you want something, if you want to borrow something, you want to know more, you glorify first. This is one type of trick. So this is same trick played here by Arjuna to Krishna, that he wants to know more about Lord Krishna, because he knows only Krishna can tell his glories, because all were born after Krishna. Just like the spider who gives rise to the entire web and then he takes it back. So only the spider knows what has been done before the web was created. This Vibhuti we can also consider, Dr. Hegde had told about symbol. Do you remember the flags of different countries?
Yes.
Similarly,
Yes.
it is also considered to be the signature of Lord. Now, how do you see the signature? When next time you go to the different places, like in the first photo you can see, what is the children in the left side photo?
That is a peacock.
Yes.
It is a beautiful peacock feather. It's the feather of a peacock.
Correct.
Feather of a peacock.
It's the feather of the national bird of India, peacock.
Vishnu, very good. What is the next slide on the top
Uncle,
right?
Sir, it is
Rainbow.
the seven-colored rainbow. It is the seven colored that turned into white-colored rainbow. Okay.
Now let us ask someone else, Vishnu. Let us give chance to someone else. Shalokya, what is the down? What do you see the last photo?
Sir, I can see the shell of one ball.
That is pearl. So children.
It's a pearl
Oyster.
Correct. So in
Pearl
the
oyster. Uncle, I want to say something.
No, we will take the questions in the end. Let us finish this because there is one more verse and we only have 3 minutes.
Uncle, I just wanted to say that my Murti has a 3 or 4 Mayur punks in its head. My Murti of Krishna.
Correct. Murti of Krishna has Mayur Pank. So God glory is kept all over for us to see. The only problem is we will be rushing like a very fast vehicle. When you go slow, when you go in a slower gear, then we can enjoy the entire place. So next time when you go to the sky, have a look in the evening, try to search for the rainbow. That is the signature of Lord Vishnu. When you see a bird, try to focus on the feathers and the colors. When you see the ocean or when you go on the seashore, try to collect some shell. You might see a pearl in it. Okay, the signatures are all there. The vibhutis all are there. Only thing is we have to nurture that habit of seeing it. Only when we are disciplined, only when we are ready to find, and you go slow, little bit slow, you will find it. I will take all the questions in the end. Sarayu?
Sir?
Sarayu, your verse?
Yes, sir.
Sir, 1 minute. I can say something.
Okay, after the class we will take, because we are running short of time. After the class you can wait and we'll ask.
Okay,
Sarayu,
sir.
go ahead.
Yes, sir. Katam vidyamaham yogim. Tvam sada paricintayan. Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu. Nityosi bhagavan maya.
Entosi Bhagavanaya.
Meaning of this verse is, O Lord of all powers, constantly thinking of you, how can I know your true nature? In what all objects are you to be meditated upon by me, O Lord? Arjuna says, I can take anything and use it as Ishvara Dhyana, the symbol of which is the symbol of meditation upon Lord. So, we in our culture worship anything and everything in the creation. By the symbolics, the Lord is behind, whether we worship the sun, moon, trees, snake, or a river, each one becomes a pratika. In what all glorious objects can you be meditated upon? I want to know, O Lord, asks Arjuna. Have you ever seen the picture of a cow? All the devatas are there in a cow. Thank you, Sachinanka, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarayu. I think today we have come to the end of the class. The story of Shibi we will take in the next class. We will end with this mantra and I will give time to ask all the questions you have. Om Purnamada Purnamidam
Om Purnamada Om Purnamidam Purnamidachyate Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Adi Sadgurubhyo Namah Hari Om Guru Namaha Hari Om.
Yeah. Now, Shalokya, your question you can ask, please.
Hari Om.